Hello? Oh, yeah, hi. Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow for Africa. Yeah, no, not Nigeria. We're going to Niger. It's in the Sahara, just a little north. Yeah, no, we'll be safe. We have a big security team. We're going to visit my Aunt Leslie. She has a foundation out there. No, it's going to be fine. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
In October 2013, a small group of Westerners visited the town of Timia, a desert oasis in northern Niger. They were the first tourists to visit Timia for more than 7 years. Situated in the roughest, most hostile terrain on Earth, Timia is a lush area of carefully tended orchards, where pomegranates, oranges, and dates literally fall off the trees into the palm of your hand. It's no surprise that this mini paradise has been dubbed the most beautiful oasis on Earth. But why hasn't anyone heard about it? Why doesn't anyone visit?
Benedicta. Benedicta. Oui. Moi, Suleiman Barka.
Suleiman Barka.
Suleiman Barka. Ned, merci. Merci.
When cameraman will
Cooper.
Merci.
You don't speak French, you will talk to Tamashek. He said, thanks for you, the American who come from the far countries, they came to see them. That is very special because it is many times the American, the European don't come here. And then he said he think it is be like the government who make peace in the north. Because if they have not peace, they cannot have the people, the tourism.
And we're going to put Timia in this film and the best.
The chief asked his new American friends to help bring tourism back to his city. The Americans promised they would.
Merci.
There was only one small problem. They'd never made a movie before.
Well, that wasn't the only problem. How about the fact that none of us speak a word of French and no one in Niger speaks any English? And that the first time we decided to make a film, we picked the poorest, hottest, most remote place you can think of.
And the only time we would have power to unload the footage and charge our batteries was when we were driving.
We took a crash course in filmmaking since we wanted to document our trip and promote the non-profit organization my Aunt Leslie started in Niger. But we weren't prepared for the conditions we'd be facing deep in the bowels of the Sahara Desert. Mobile office.
So, making a film which will single-handedly restore the tourist industry in Timia might have been slightly ambitious on our part. But hey, a promise is a promise.
Emptying the trash. And we're clear. Pretty excited. Neither of us have been to Africa before. My Aunt Leslie has been traveling in Niger for 20 years and started the Nomad Foundation. She invited us to come document the projects the foundation's working on. The Nomad Foundation was the only way we were able to get a visa to go to Niger in the first place. Otherwise, no one's allowed in. It's too dangerous.
We were nervous about it. I went online and read that the UN strongly recommends people not to go to Niger. I didn't tell my mom in Norway about it. I just said we were going to Costa Rica and wouldn't have a cell phone. After we returned from Niger, I told her the truth and she said, "Thank you for not telling me before. I wouldn't have been able to sleep for a month."
When I first told my wife we were going to Niger, the first thing she said was, "Well, where's Niger?" Now, this is a woman who travels, and she didn't know what it was. It made me feel really good. The thing is, I didn't know what it was either, but I didn't let on to that. I am going to Niger. It's crazy.
Niger is the second poorest country in the world. It is roughly the size of California and Texas combined, and is predominantly Muslim. The northern two-thirds of the country is in the Sahara Desert. This is the land of the nomads, and this is where we are going. Leslie suggested that we bring a pair of sunglasses with a camera in it and some electronic cigarettes to give to the guy who's going to help us through customs. I assume this is a bribe, but maybe it's just a gift.
Bienvenue au Niger.
Merci.
You're on a plane for 20 hours and you get off of a plane in Africa, you are called to want to cry out, "Mommy, it is so hot." And you think to yourself, I'm not going to be able to do this for a month.
Been on the road for about 26 hours.
We're a little punchy at this point. Our next stop is the capital of the nomads, the city of Agadez. Once a flourishing tourist destination with direct flights to Paris, all international travel is now banned. Only humanitarian flights can enter this area. The threat of terrorism and kidnapping is too great to allow anyone else. We're going to meet Sidi, who is the representative for the Nomad Foundation in Niger. He's taking us to the Tamasna Center for Nomadic Life.
Welcome to Agadez.
Merci beaucoup.
Agadez is the largest city in northern Niger, with a population of more than 80,000 people. It was founded before the 14th century and gradually became the most important Tuareg city. The Grand Mosque dates back to 1515. It was rebuilt in the original style in 1844. Today, Agadez is a market town and a center for transportation of uranium, which is mined in this area.
So this is our security team right here. 16 guys. And they're going to be at our side for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And every last one of them is packing an AK-47. The back of their pickup truck has a 50 cal mounted on it. If you don't feel safe with these guys, you're just not going to feel safe.
It's not LA, eh?
A little different.
A little bit.
Big difference. Yeah.
My first impression was kind of like, wow. This is pretty much as far away from home that I can be. Here we are passing by all these refugees from Libya. I'm feeling a little bit outside of my comfort zone.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, this desert is in better shape than the road.
Niger won independence from the French regime in 1960. Since then, the Tuareg nomads have fought to retain the way of life that has sustained them for centuries. A way of life which transcends national boundaries and expectations set by the ever-encroaching Western value system. And they have fought to be heard. The nomads are difficult to find and hard to pin down. They have long been ignored by their own government and overlooked by humanitarian organizations. In today's world, few lawmakers recognize the right to a nomadic life. Leslie Clark is the founder of the Nomad Foundation. She built the Tamasna Center for Nomadic Life in 2008 to provide services and education programs that the Tuaregs want and need. Tamasna is accessible to the nomads, but doesn't threaten their cultural and economic traditions.
It's clinic here, our school there.
Thank you so much.
Leslie is a visual artist and a nomad at heart. She took her first trip to Niger in 1993 looking for exotic subject matter. She found that and a lot more.
So I went to Niger to paint and found the nomads. They were so hospitable and generous. I wanted to thank them, so I bought a cow for the family of Pierogi. I had no idea how on the edge of survival they were. When I went back the next year, his uncle took me aside and said that because of that cow, he and his family were able to stay nomadic instead of going into a city to beg. The $200 I spent didn't much alter my life, but it did theirs. So I decided I had to do something. This culture didn't deserve to just die out. I couldn't do much with my own means, so I started asking for help, and the Nomad Foundation was born.
After 32 hours on the road, we finally arrived. Home sweet home.
So for the next 2 weeks, we will stay here at Tamasna and get to know the two nomadic tribes that live in this area, the Tuareg and the Wudabi.
This is the newlywed tent, as it was called. This is where Benedict and I have been staying. And the bed itself is actually quite a deal. We have our little cushions on here, but then on top we have a couple of mats with beautiful decorations. And then you can see what the actual bed is made of. It's just these long sticks. And every morning, pretty much, they'll come out and be like that, and so I'll have to go and put them back in their grooves and get it all set up. Several of the Tuareg tents that we've been in have one nice bed like this for the main couple. So I guess that makes us the main couple.
So now I'm cleaning my camera.
Nice. You gotta take good care of little Torfin.
Today we are going to the well.
60% of Niger's rural population lacks access to clean drinking water. People often travel for hours to reach one of these community wells.
The people that live in this valley, Tarakshit is a very large valley. There's a big population that live here, and they generally have the priority of use of this well. And the people that are in migration usually have to come early or use it late. And it's not that they don't have the right, it's just a matter of respect between the people who use the well.
That's a lot of weight on the end of that rope.
And you see how hard they're pulling there?
Yeah.
And they're always driven by a little kid. And that's why the little kids don't get to go to school.
How many people are on this team?
20.
20? Is it dangerous?
No,
No?
dangerous.
Not dangerous. Okay. So it's okay for me to feel safe and happy.
Looking at those military guys that were under that little tree in their full uniform and flip-flops, no comfortable place to sit or lie down, day in and day out. Day in and day out. No running water, no shower, no television. They did have cell phones, though. The stark contrast of my life and their life is just amazing.
So today we are taking a short drive to meet Issof and Amina and their kids, and Musa and his children. Both are nomad families who have settled in the area around Thomas now.
A nomad is a person with no settled home, someone who moves from place to find pasture in order to make a living. The Tuareg nomadic tribe can be traced back to the 4th century, where the legendary queen Tin Hinan united the tribes and founded the unique culture that still lives on today.
Crying for mama. Fresh camel's milk is a delicacy. The Tuareg believe it is medicine, but we were warned not to drink too much because it's so rich it can make you sick.
Got milk?
When Amina settled here, she left behind the nomadic life her family had upheld for generations. A woman's voice carries a lot of weight in Tuareg society, and for the first time ever, this family put down roots in one place for the sake of their children's education. At first, Amina's tribe told her she was crazy. Why would she go and sit in a house and watch the wall? But because of her determination, all Amina's children now go to school, and other nomad families are beginning to see the value of her choice.
Musa's 2 sisters died in childbirth. Now his mother, Nesbun, is raising 4 orphaned grandchildren. In 1 year, I lost 5 young friends who died in childbirth. This was the impetus for starting the midwife training program. Musa and I have been friends since my 2nd trip to Niger. He moved his family to Tamasna so his children could go to school, and he and his wife, Umanena, could support our programs here.
Merci beaucoup.
Sweet and hot. It's amazing.
This was the first time these kids had ever seen themselves on camera. I was wasting valuable batteries and power to show the kids the playback, but it was totally worth it. To be the first person to introduce the wonders of the Western world to them was pretty cool.
85% of Nigerians are illiterate. Of the 15% who do know how to read, only 7% are women. Schools don't exist in the Sahara Desert, and a nomadic family would never dream of sending their children to the city to get educated. It's simply too dangerous, too different from everything they know and value. With places like Tamasna, this is beginning to change.
Oh, no.
Okay, bonne nuit.
Linda Lamb first came to Niger as a birthday gift for her 50th birthday. She had never been out of the country, and her first trip ever was to Niger. She loved it. Well, since then, 10 years after, she came back for the first time as a volunteer for the Nomad Foundation.
Linda? Je m'appelle Linda. C'est bien.
The thing that's remarkable about Linda is that she doesn't speak French or Tamashek or Fulfulde, but she communicates with everybody so easily.
So that says Linda. Linda.
My job as a volunteer was to do some teaching in the classroom. The teacher at Tamasna, who is in charge of the school, graciously accepted me as a fellow for a couple days. I brought a map of the world. We did map skills. They were shocked to see all the water in the world. Agadez?
A nomad family may be reluctant to send their kids to school because it takes them away from the work of hauling water and helping the family. That's one of the reasons why the boarding school at Tamasna was built. Families can leave their children here and know they are safe, well-fed, and educated, while continuing to move along with the herds away from a fixed place.
Cooper and I were having a discussion just a second ago. I guess just about us Westerners out here in the bush. Haven't looked at a single email, I haven't even opened a laptop, but there's been no internet connection. It's hard to get power. This is an amazing trip, but it's kind of freaking us out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I miss the 7-Eleven convenience, but I'm not a I probably haven't been in a 7-Eleven in the last year. I don't know, it's just weird. It's just tough on me. I was thinking right before I came in here, I thought, it's a shame that people have to live like this. But it isn't this, it's this that I'm interested in, you know?
That is
all
it
that
right
convenience
there. Yeah.
that we have. It's just sort of made us unadaptable. I'd be a knucklehead to say that it hasn't been an amazing trip, but yet still like, I'm a little unhappy.
Buck up, soldier.
Okay.
This reality check brought to you by Cooper and Ned.
Thank you. Peace. Exist.
Don't worry about that.
Today, Dr. Bob and the rest of the volunteers arrive. With their help, the medical clinic at Tamasna will reopen. It's not exactly true that people haven't visited this place for decades. Some people do come, and these are the Rotarians. They are Americans who pay through the nose to get here. They know it's not a safe place, but they still do it because they want to help. These guys are real heroes.
That's not a full dose. I think we should start packaging yours in 60.
This is how we communicate how they take their pills.
And these drawings are explaining to the matrons what it's for, because the matrons are also illiterate. So there's a little drop of blood for hemorrhage, there's a little worm for parasites, and there's a little fever, what are those, rays of heat?
Yes, rays of heat. She's got a fever.
Anybody that's was raised on a ranch knows how to make do.
That's right.
Niger has the highest infant mortality rate in the world. 30% of children die before the age of 5. Crazy when you consider that Niger women also have the highest birth rate in the world at an average of 7 to 8 children per woman. Ouch.
And that there's only one doctor for every 75,000 inhabitants. In fact, a couple of days before the clinic reopened, a woman and child came to get medical help for cataracts, and there was nothing we could do. Just give them eye drops and tell them to come back later. So sad.
Since Dr. Bob started the midwife program in 2011, the maternal and infant mortality rate among nomads has completely changed. Just 4 years later, the matrones at Tamasna have assisted at over 300 births with no maternal deaths and no deaths of children.
Je suis venue de Niamey. Je suis venue aider Dr. Bob et travailler en même temps avec Leslie. J'ai étudié à Niamey. J'ai fait 3 ans de formation d'infirmière. Et même pendant les études, pendant les 2 ans que j'ai fait, à la 2e année, c'est en ce temps-là que je commençais à travailler avec la Fondation Nomade. Il y a beaucoup de malades qui viennent se faire consulter.
Because otherwise, if the baby's face turns up, it's undeliverable. You can't deliver it.
The clinic has successfully dealt with breech births, postpartum hemorrhages, and delivered healthy triplets. The most recent and exciting new development is that Dr. Bob will be able to turn over the program to local staff this year. This allows for the work to continue, even if Americans are not able to return. Getting back to Niger is becoming increasingly difficult, especially if terrorism keeps rearing its ugly head.
I'm a retired school psychologist and have become a member of the Rotary Club to get involved in service projects. The lack of hand washing has been responsible for a lot of illness in the villages. So we came up with a little simple thing like this. I brought nothing with me on the trip because I thought, if this project is going to survive, they have to be able to get the material that we use right here. And it provides a stream sufficient to wash your hands, but does not use a lot of water. Plan now is to visit a number of villages and distribute these initial containers.
Oh, it's right here.
What's that? Oh, holy smokes. Are you serious? That's dinner?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. I've never seen dinner alive before it's dinner before. Linda, have you seen that? That's dinner.
I know I don't like to name my food.
Right. Wow. There's a goat in there.
I am a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. I mean, my entire association with animals is that they're pets. I'm totally moved by this experience at this sheep being sacrificed. And at the ease at which these guys are taking the sheep's life is just fascinating to me. You can ask kids in LA, like, where does milk come from? And they'll say, from a store. So the disconnect from the food that we eat is so vast that it's almost, I don't know, it's funny in a ridiculous way.
So sad.
Even though I've traveled a lot and I've seen a lot in my life, I've never seen an event like this before. And it's a common occurrence that is happening every day. And that I am that disconnected from it, it's just bizarre. It's a little embarrassing, actually, but I'm glad I still got to see it.
Invented them?
Musique. Classique.
Tchaikovsky. We wanted to give the children at Tamasna an experience of our kind of art. I taught the kids a ballet class, and Cooper brought a bunch of cameras for them.
When we said that we were going to Africa and I was going to take photographs, I knew that I wasn't going to have access to kids and their families the way that they would. It'd be a lot of fun for them to share their work in a way that they probably never have ever have shared their work before. So we gave the cameras out. We taught them how to use them. They came back the next day. They brought the cameras back. And sure enough, there were lots and lots of pictures of close-ups of eyeballs and lots of pictures of rocks. But these kids did take those cameras and did take the concept, incorporate it into their consciousness and their lives, and went out and executed on that concept and came back with some fabulous images. I was very impressed. This one kid shot his mother laughing. Here she is in the comfort of her own home. She's smiling, she's laughing. It looked like a couple of shots, it looked like she was dancing, you know, and that was special.
This night we will have a big party with music. You have Tuareg music, you have the American music, you have the Wodaabe music. It will be a good night for us.
People were arriving from all over the place to come celebrate the improvements at Tamasna. The Wodaabes arrived with a display of their art, dance, and musical traditions.
And as a token of appreciation, I too was determined to display some of America's own musical tradition, a little rock and roll. We're in Sidi's compound and about to show Hasso and his band the two songs I'm going to play tonight. We'll see how it goes. I don't speak French, but we all speak music, right? Hasso, of course, he is the local boy made good. He is the supreme musician of this area. I think everyone knows Hasso's music. So I look forward to tonight.
Don't give me no plug, nickel. I'll sure start a fake. And if you ain't got you no money, then you ain't getting no dick. Ooh, now don't misconstrue what I do. There's so much money in this world to be made. I know for my part, I got no good in my heart. I'm just doing what I do to get paid. Get paid.
C'est bon? Yeah. C'est bon. Thank you so much. Merci. The children were busy performing. The girls were playing drums and singing a call and response kind of song, and the boys were dancing. And Sidi was explaining to Leslie, he was almost in tears explaining the lyrics that the girls were singing, which was roughly, some did not want this school, but we learn here. They did not want this clinic, but now we have medicine. Some did not like this place, but now we have food. They cannot like it until they are tired, but we can eat and learn. And I thought that was so profound for these young preteen girls to have that much understanding of their position and to express it so well.
Give me $1 silver and I'll show you an ace.
Being a musician, this trip has definitely had a load of amazing moments for me. To be selfish about it, my favorite moment was being on stage with Hasso and playing one of my songs and hearing how they Africanized it. Gotta get my stuff ready here.
So today is our last day before we hit the road. We will be traveling up north all the way into the dunes. But first, we are about to witness a traditional camel race.
Musa Mohamed Wezer. Premier prix grand tour Musa Mohamed. Musa Mohamed ou de Jazza. Il a prix ne chemos Marogi.
Next time first.
إنك ألوس دوز بتلسيق تقلد ويزر.
He doesn't even know how to thank us for all that we've done and for traveling so far, and he hopes that we return in peace and gather strength to come back in bigger numbers.
For the next 2 weeks, we'll be on the road. First stop is Fadouk, Abu Dhabi village. After Fadouk, we will drive to Aboy, where our new friend Musa used to live.
Then we continue to Ifirwan, the gateway to the dunes, before we hit the Timio oasis. But now, off to see the petrified forest. If I saw that on the ground, I would definitely think I could burn that. And then you look here, that's the same as that. Then look at how beautiful the color. Just gorgeous, and it's everywhere. Beautiful. Now we are going to see some dinosaur tracks that are nearby in Tuareg terms. I don't know how long that really is.
This is a dinosaur footprint from approximately 850 million years ago.
This is the track of the Jabaria, which was a dinosaur discovered by Paul Serrano in Niger.
I'm a dinosaur fan. I'm pretty excited. This is pretty cool. It's amazing to walk in the steps of some enormous beast that lived hundreds of millions of years ago. It's also amazing that it isn't roped off with a McDonald's right next to it.
It's pretty impressive. You wonder that they didn't get burned or something. It's a flow.
You can see the steps clearly. They're about 4 feet apart.
So when I got there, I was a little disappointed. I was like, this is it? I mean, this is... I put my shoe beside it, and my shoe was like that much shorter than the print. And I thought to myself, I'm not that big. But now that Ned has said, well, think of it as a bird. My God, that's impressive.
The age. At least you can think of how old it is. That's impressive at least.
It's something that was alive that you see evidence of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Now, hey, can we go back? I mean, seriously, now that I have perspective, I want to see it again. So we just arrived. We're about to set up camp. We're going to take down our beds. Oh, excuse me.
Cooper, now you might have a little understanding of why I gave you sheets.
Right?
Yeah. He's just like, I don't think I'm gonna need these sheets. I was like, wait a sec. Big time scorpion check. Yes. Yeah. I wasn't about to do the Survivor man, cut the tail off and eat him. They're supposed to taste okay, but...
Good sleeping. Exit. Stage left.
The Wadabi people are known for their beauty, elaborate clothing, and rich cultural ceremonies. They have no written language, and their traditions have been retained for millennia. Today, the Wadabi are loosely Islamic, as is 94% of the country.
There's no ice tonight.
They'll give it to you on the rocks. They just won't give it to you with ice.
That's right. Hey, it's embarrassment of riches on this trip. I mean, come on. This smells like no rum I've ever smelled before. But it is alcoholic. And in my book, that's okay.
Put the stuff in there and cover it.
Oh, that is rough. But you know what? Here we are. Santé.
This is the father. This is his house. Bonjour. What's her name? Might need some translation, but I'm getting 3 wives. So this is one of them. His sword, which is an interesting story about his sword. His father did have it, passed it down to the son, and the son is now going to pass it down to his son. So I thought, oh wow, that's moved me. And before I left the room, I said, yeah, well, one day I'm going to buy one of those. And they all said, well, come back tomorrow and buy this one. A little strange, but you know, but it was cool. So I hope it doesn't come out because I don't have any cash on me.
This is one of the poorest countries in the world, but yet the people are not distraught. They are very good businessmen. It's a way of life for them to set the price higher than what they expect to get. And they almost take offense if you don't bargain with them. But it always has to end with a handshake and a smile.
Go for it.
So after some good shopping, we spent the day in the village passing out supplies.
Okay.
Then Ned and I followed the kids to their school, where we got the geography lessons from one of the security guys.
Algeria, Libye, Chad, Lac Chad, Nigeria. Mali frontière. Agadez. Vilma. Washi, Termi. Tawa, Maradi.
So now we're making our way to a boy. This is what a boy looks like on a Google map, by the way. And this is what you get when you try to Google map the route from Faduk to a boy.
So he's explaining to Leslie that the solar engineer who's done work for them in the past is giving an estimate of $18,000 to get solar power for their well to get up. The well was given to them by the uranium company, but as it is, they can't get any water out of it.
It would make a huge difference in their lives to have solar power. So we'll try.
So the nomads there have to ask for donations to get solar power from people like Leslie.
Uranium is an essential element to create electricity in the Western world. The entire country of France, for example, runs almost exclusively on electricity generated from nuclear facilities. And nuclear power plants can't run without uranium. A significant amount of the world's uranium is mined in Niger. The highest concentration is here, in this area, where the Tuareg caravans have been herding their camels and sheep for centuries.
This well is contaminated with uranium, and it's been tested and turned out to be the highest contamination of any well in the region at 33%.
In order to mine uranium as quickly as possible, thereby generating most value on the dollar, the miners let radioactive waste spill into the water, which the nomads drink and feed to their livestock. The result is that animals and people die from radioactivity, and the area is no longer safe. While Western electricity companies pay the Niger government for mining rights, the government has a long history of ignoring the needs of nomadic tribes. The Tuaregs have tried to get something back from the resources that have been taken from their lands for almost 50 years. But because of government corruption, and because they are nomads, normal democratic processes are not available to them. Tuaregs are a forgiving people. One of their core values is to never react in anger. A Tuareg man will never hit his wife or children. It would be considered an embarrassing act of rage and result in social ridicule. In a desert land such as this, patience is the most important principle of all. But sometimes, even a Tuareg's patience can be pushed to the limit. In the past, this has led to rebellion against the government.
So, just heard the plan. Since we're still 2 hours from Davos, where the giraffe carving is, we're going to spend the night near here, get up early, go see the giraffe, and then go on to Ifawan. So it's going to be a long day in the car tomorrow. Long. Our driver is Agali Bob, and the reason he's Agali Bob instead of just Agali, because Agali is his actual name, but I guess in the rebellions, he was in the rebellion. There was another Agali in the rebellions, but Agali Bob had dreads, like Bob Marley. And everyone in Africa knows Bob Marley. Yeah. But they know Michael Jackson, and they know Bob Marley.
Good taste. So at this point, I was starting to be kind of optimistic about the whole thing. Basically, I jinxed it.
We pulled over on the side of the road here in the middle of Niger. Not sure where. We've been traveling for 2 hours. We got our mechanic underneath the truck right now. And we're gonna get this thing settled up. We're gonna get on the road. Exit. Stage left.
This is the Tenere Desert. Tenere literally means where there is nothing. But the carving on the rocks prove that this was not always so. As recently as 5,000 years ago, this area was a lush, grassy plain teeming with wildlife, lakes, and a great number of human settlements.
Let us see.
Told you it was fantastic, didn't I? Didn't I say, wait till you see the giraffe? But the mountain's higher than it was 6 years ago. It's harder to get here. Get here.
Awesome.
You did this, didn't you?
I am crazy, yeah. Okay, let's go, please.
I haven't even got there.
Let's go, please.
Everywhere we went, Leslie had grown branches over her incredible work. Here in Ifirwan, she has helped them set up a women's co-op where they make beautiful leather craft that Leslie sells at her Nomad Gallery in Ojai.
This is the second time I've been to Niger, and the reason I came back was twofold. Number one was to see what Leslie had done in the past 6 years. The second was I was told that we are the first people back to Infrawan since the last time I was here, and that makes me sort of feel like a pioneer coming back. Do you speak any English? A little bit. And I thought this is a perfect place for it because Infrawan is too far from everywhere else to be getting their own glasses. And we can create a micro industry for one person. And so I talked to Leslie and she said, well, if you get the glasses and you come and teach, then we'll do that. It will make over 300 pair of glasses. And the cost of the material for each set of glasses is less than 50 cents a pair.
The glass is made in Ifirwan.
Made in Ifirwan.
Yeah.
The premier pair of glasses on Ifirwan. See what they're
Okay,
like.
merci.
See if they
Tu
fit.
vois les livres là? Très bien. Ah ouais.
Sidi said in Niger they have time, so it doesn't make any difference how long it takes as long as it comes out well. Si. Bonne chance. Ah. Au revoir.
Merci.
That was pretty damn amazing right there. Did you see they were using their shoe to beat the drums? Like, that was too dang cool.
I couldn't get a rhythm going. I'll go back in a little bit.
Our travel continued through the black rock-topped Ayer Mountains, along the sandy canyon bottom. As we drove, it got drier and the mountains started to appear like dunes. White painted stones on the side of the road means this area was cleared for landmines, placed during the rebellion. This area, Tizerzit, was a hot spot throughout the Tuareg uprising. All right, they're letting air out of the tires because we're heading for the dunes.
I have now 7 years.
First time in 7 years. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Like emotion, yeah?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
conta.
Beautiful.
Ay, she conta. She conta. Bravo, conta, Leslie.
Leslie says there is more beautiful rock art not far from here, but it's too dangerous to check it out because there might be landmines out there.
In 1995, the Niger government made an agreement with the Tuaregs. In exchange for uranium mining in Tuareg territory, they would provide jobs, development, and infrastructure to the nomads in this region. The agreement was hard-won. The Tuaregs fought for several years to get it, and many of their people died or fled as refugees. In the almost 20 years since the agreement was signed, nothing has changed for the Tuaregs. The government refuses to publicly address the issue. When it became clear to the Tuaregs that their government had no intention of honoring the agreement, another rebellion broke out. This one took place between 2007 and 2009. Sidi and Hasso were both powerful leaders in the first Tuareg guerrilla armies, but they didn't join the last one. They understood that their people had suffered more than anyone else, and they sought political solutions.
Getting close now, baby.
One thing that Ned said that was the most profound statement of the entire trip for me was when we took off to go into the dunes, and these trucks that we were driving, probably each one of them had broken down probably 8, 9, 10 times over the course of 3 or 4 days. And Ned said, man, it's just amazing. These trucks break down, they're unreliable, and we just keep driving further and further and further into the desert. It's just crazy.
We're on top of a dune. It's scary as hell getting up here. Car won't start. Everything's fine.
C'est bon, ici.
Yeah.
C'est bon, ici.
Okay.
Oui, oui. Dormir ici.
Ouais, dormir ici.
It's awesome. Love it.
Like, if it would have been me, the first time it would have broken down, I would have been heading back because there's no shops out there.
Too good.
We're just going to go with that and hope for the best.
Notre histoire, au début, on était avec Leslie Clark, on faisait des voyages touristiques. Mais finalement, nous avons compris que nous aimons les voyages, nous aimons les déserts, nous aimons les dîmes, mais il serait préférable pour nous que nous voulons aider les autres, nous voulons aider les peuples nomades. C'est pourquoi Leslie a créé la fondation Nomad Foundation aux États-Unis, que je représente ici. Nous avons fait des projets, des écoles, des cliniques, des puits pour les nomades, et ce qui a fait que ça a été extraordinaire et que nous ne savons même pas comment les décrire parce que les déserts et surtout les dînes, c'est autre chose. Et je ne sais même pas comment décrire la joie, ce que je ressens en moi actuellement. C'est comme si je suis en train de dégager tout ce qui est négatif en moi et recevoir le positif. J'adore les dînes, bénédicta, la force du désert et des dînes. Et j'adore et j'aime.
Hasso is making togila, which is the Tuareg traditional bread, and it's always made on any trip into the sand. They don't wrap it up in anything, it's just dough plunked right into the sand. It's delicious, and it's the Tuareg haute cuisine.
Et pour lui, tous les Touaregs sont la même chose. Voilà, donc c'est pour ça que j'ai chanté pour lui. La guitare aussi.
So Hasso is explaining how they used music to communicate during the rebellion. In spite of the government trying to control the region, the Tuaregs continued to do what people have done for centuries, share news and information through stories and songs. In their case, they used old-school cassette tapes.
On préfère la paix. Toujours on cherche la paix. Surtout nous les artistes.
Ay. Ay. Whew. Yikes.
Oh man, what a rough morning. We woke up before sunrise to try to climb to the top of a dune, which I'm sure on this camera doesn't look large at all. But when you're carrying gear, tripod, camera, water, we just couldn't make it. And so now we're sitting on the side of the dune, watching the very edges of what I'm sure is a gorgeous sunrise just on the other side of this. Maybe tomorrow morning, it won't be such a big dune to climb. The dune just stretches on and on.
You just don't go around.
You don't go around it.
In 1997, I think it was, I came here to visit her family. Her grandfather is a Bera, an old friend. And while we were here, they held a big festival, and her father fell off a camel. And everybody got all made up, and I did this painting of her.
Little kid playing in the sand.
Look at this sand. It's so soft out here. It's so deep. Look at her. Like she's already...
So now we're saying goodbye to the dunes and heading to the green trees of Timia.
Full on security. So they're wanting to make sure that I get to Timia in one complete piece. So here we go.
J'adore Timia, c'est une très belle oasis.
Comment vas-tu? Ça fait longtemps.
Oui, très longtemps.
Oh, ça fait longtemps.
They said it's been years since they've seen white people here, and they're really happy to see us.
So, in the end, I think the biggest lesson I learned on this trip is that politics and poverty and, means of transportation aside, fundamentally, we really were not that different from each other.
Yeah, we may not speak the same language, but I guess in the end, we all kind of want the same things. Food, clean water to drink, and a safe home for the ones we love.
Timia, pour moi, c'est un petit paradis, Timia, parce que vraiment, c'est un contraste. C'est très différent de tout ce qu'on a vu durant notre voyage. C'est vraiment différent. Quand tu viens à Timia, c'est comme tu es dans une autre planète. Tu te retrouves dans des jardins, dans des trucs que tu trouves en Californie, des avocats, des oranges. Vraiment, c'est extraordinaire.
Good.
That is
Good.
sweet. This is layover
I
time
knew
right
it.
here. That's what we need.
Next thing Ned's gonna say is, let's just give it a shot, baby. 5 years.
5 years in Tibia. Make a hard man humble. Camel or two.
I'll teach in school.
Yeah, teach ballet. I bet there's no ballet teacher here.
No.
And I bet not too many guys are playing country music around here either.
Let's do it.
All right. And we're out. There have been, I think, 3 Tuareg rebellions against the government? Two.
Yeah.
Okay. But now the Tuareg are part of the government.
Yeah. Donc au Niger, nous avons vécu des rébellions, une rébellion dans les années 90, dont moi-même j'ai fait partie. C'était au début, c'était pour une réclamation des droits politiques, des droits socio-économiques, parce qu'il y avait beaucoup de richesses qu'on enlève au nord Niger et que les Touaregs et les nomades n'en profitent pas. Et à un certain moment, ils avaient des problèmes d'éducation, d'aller à l'école, ils avaient des problèmes de santé, des dispensaires. Mais maintenant, je pense que ça va, parce que maintenant, après la deuxième rébellion qu'il y a eu en 2007, les choses, il y a eu des accords de paix en 1995, où les Touaregs dans le nord Niger ont eu beaucoup d'avantages et ils ont été intégrés dans l'armée, dans la police, dans la gendarmerie et dans la sécurité en général. Et aussi, ils occupent aujourd'hui des postes politiques très importants. Le premier ministre du Niger, c'est un Touareg, qui s'appelle Birji Rafini. Le seul point où jusqu'à présent les Touaregs ont des réclamations, c'est dans le niveau minier, dans les mines du Niger, parce qu'au nord, il y a des mines de l'uranium. Nous avons la 3e plus grande mine du monde, qui est Imouraren. Et on espère avec la politique, parce que je vous dis que maintenant les dirigeants du Niger sont très accessibles au nord Niger. Et nous avons
I'm trading an extra headlight that I packed just in case for a beautiful cross of Timia. Oh, Timia. Très joli. Oh, merci beaucoup.
Le cuisinier, il est très gentil.
This appears to be the new car that is being rented to us by the good people of Timia, since our last car was on its last legs and had to be towed here by a cable which broke. But somehow they got it here. We don't know how. But here is our beautiful new ride.
So that's it. If we succeed in promoting tourism and keep our promise to the chief of Timia, only time will tell.
Look, I think the short answer is that really the only way to get tourists to come back to Niger is if they aren't afraid of getting killed.
We met nothing but kind people, amazing sights, and fascinating culture. Yet the threats of bandits and terrorism remain. Political change would be the real key to restore tourism to this area. And as it happens, Sidi has recently been elected mayor of Ingal, a city nearby Tamasna. Maybe Sidi can work his way up the political ladder and get the nomads the peace and stability they need to preserve their rich cultural traditions and their cherished environment.
Give me $1 silver and I'll show you an ace. Give me $1 silver and I'll show you an ace. And if you ain't got you no money, then get out of my face. Get on out of my face. Don't give me no plug nickel, 'cause I can spot a fake. Don't give me no plug nickel. I sure spot a fake. And if you ain't got you no money, then you ain't getting no J. Ooh. Now don't misconstrue why I do. There's so much money in this world to be made. I know for my